Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead with more of your frugal living tips. Alrighty. Before I get started on and there's pages of them, so I may have to break this into 2 videos. Please remember to take notes. If for any reason the electrical grid goes down, you may want to be able to look this stuff up. So if it interests you, please take notes with actual pen and paper. And a lot of you reminded me I forgot to talk about Dawn and vinegar. If this runs long, I will do a separate video as well. All right? Part 4. We're going to call this series Frugal Living. Okay? Because what my grandma would tell you to save is way too long. So we're going to call this Frugal Living, and this is part 4. Lori Foster, Alaska Granny on YouTube. Yes, we're going to shout out other channels if they have good stuff like this, okay? Alaska Granny on YouTube uses bubble wrap to insulate the windows in winter. Does have a video on this. New sub here. Well, thank you, Lori. And I may do that with my 1-bedroom window and my patio door this winter in our bedroom. That's where the most of that cold comes in, and I won't put the heat on in my bedroom. But I can at least make it more comfortable for Howie, right? Shelley O'Donnell. Regarding the idea about making a casserole from leftovers, at one time my great Aunt Shirley had around 11 kids in her house. That's a lot of mouths to feed. She would either make a garbage casserole or a garbage stew every week. It was great. Also, this was during the time when food assistance was the government-provided dried milk, blocks of cheese. To stretch the store-bought milk, she would mix up a gallon of powdered milk and then mix it with a gallon of the stuff from the store. This doubled her milk at no extra cost to her. And nobody probably noticed either, right? Mark Neff, how are you, darling? I use my pill bottles to save my quarters in for the laundry machine. It holds $8.75, the same size as a roll of quarters. My roll of quarters gets $10 here. That's a roll of quarters is $10 in Canada. I don't know what it is. Get 5-gallon pickle buckets from the fast food deli. Some of them will charge, but more often than not, if you want to ask them for their plastic condiment bottles or their glass condiment bottles, the big ones, or their buckets, offer to pay, and they will more often than not give them to you for free. It's called courtesy. You just don't go in and expect. You expect to offer to pay. Even $1 a bucket is a good deal. Did you forget to talk about the Dawn dish soap vinegar? Did I miss it? I really like to hear about it. Okay. Thanks for a fun video. Tulip. People in my town, well, we live out in the middle of nowhere, list what service you can trade or cash to trade skills. I did to get my hair done, and I cleaned the hairdresser's house. She bleached and cut my hair. Well, there you go. We get brown paper bags at the store, handfuls at a time, and have a pretty good ply for the fireplace starter. But what a friend does is she saves her dryer lint. I've done this. Pours wax into egg cartons and then puts the lint in them. That's her starters. But a trash can, all your paper in it and water it, make brick for wood fireplace and save old books you're about to throw away or catalogs. I save all my catalogs to burn. I might try that too. All right, Michelle Jaggard. Nail or screw a chain to the top of your patio, whatever the outside board is called, like your fascia, I think, where just the bottom of the chain loop is showing, and hang your shirts or dressers on your hangers and hang them through the loop of the chain to dry. That's utilizing your space. And if you want, you can actually add a hook to the other end of the chain and then hook it up on something else to give it more air circulation. But great idea. If you need a cheap small washing machine, use a 3-gallon, 5-gallon bucket with a lid. Buy a new toilet plunger and cut a hole in the top of the bucket lid. just a little larger than the handle or plunger, like a butter churn, like an old-fashioned butter churn. Fill the bucket half to 3/4 with water, add small amount of soap, put lid in place and plunge up and down on the plunger handle while sitting down. Go slow, you aren't in a race. Plunge a few times, let the clothes rest in soapy water. You will rinse the same way. My mother used a wringer washer, and she had these big stone tub that was divided with soapstone in the middle. Great big tub, double tub. And when she finished washing the clothes, they would go through the wringer into the first tub with a little bit of fabric softener in that water. And she would plunge and plunge and plunge and plunge and plunge and plunge with this little blue plunger. It was shaped like a flower, and in each like flower bulge there was a hole, and it had a handle about yay long. And she would plunge that to make sure that the clothes got properly rinsed. And then she would swing the arm of the wringer washer over, and then she would wring those out into clean, fresh water. Plunge, 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 wring them out into the basket. My mother was bloody pretty thorough. But those were called a laundry plunger. Sue! We are harvesting veggies earlier than most because we planted earlier. Covered the baby plants with water bottles. Just cut off the tops, stick in the dirt covering the plant. This protected them from night frost and wind. And as they grow, cover them with 2-liter soda bottles. Customized tiny greenhouses. Wow, Sue. J8N3EYRE3. Use shampoo. Now, this was a great idea, too. These are all really good ideas. Use shampoo and less water while using a foaming soap bottle. Put a couple of teaspoons of shampoo in the foaming soap hand bottle. Fill the rest with water. Work the foam into the roots of your hair. Lather to work out the dirt. Rinse as usual, especially good if you use soft water in the bottle, as it foams better. Now, listen. You're not supposed to actually wash your hair. You're supposed to wash your scalp. Have you ever sat in a hairdresser's chair at the shampoo station? She puts that stuff on her hands, and she gets under your hair and goes right in and washes your scalp and then works it through. So that was a really good idea too. Cereal bags from inside boxes, not the bulk bags, can be opened flat and used as wax paper liners for dehydrator trays, especially for fruit leather, wrappers for homemade coffee, and so on. Oh, toffee and so on. I also have a paper shredder. Now, I love this idea. Over a kitchen garbage can that I can shred cereal boxes and food boxes into. Makes great fire starter instead of newspaper. It also makes great mulch for your garden and bedding for when you're starting chicks or baby animals. When I make hamburger patties, that's my son gave me a press, which helps my arthritic hands. I put muffin liners between the hamburger patties, and they don't stick. They're just the right size, and you can use them over and over again, or you can use wax paper or parchment paper. D. Will. With all the grocery pickups, I had a large number of plastic bags. Being an avid crocheter, I cut them in loops, hooked them together, and crocheted them into any size you want shopping bag. Also, great for carrying groceries from the car to the house. It's perfect beach or lake bag. I also have made mats for the grandkids to sit on when at the beach or playing in the yard. They love them. Everybody sees them wants one. They're perfect for bringing produce from the garden, fruit or nuts from the orchard. They can be dragged if heavy and nothing happens. Awesome. Also make great baskets for storing canned foods on the shelf or floor. My town produces a newspaper, and if you go there, this is also D-Will, you can get the ends of the rolls at the machine that can't feed through the printer. They're usually free or real cheap. These rolls have no print on them and are great for pattern making or packing breakables when moving. There is really a lot of paper on them. I have the same roll for years now. My cousin Angie worked at a place, and she got one of those end of the rolls for me, and I had it for years. I'd love to get more of that. And also, when I was a kid and lived in Toronto, the Globe Envelopes factory was on Queen Street, and it backed onto the laneway coming up to the back alley coming up to our house or our street. And it's not there anymore. But I remember climbing the fire escape ladder to have a cigarette. I wasn't inhaling, I just thought I was cool, with a friend, and seeing down in the dumpster nothing but several rolls of pink and blue paper. And it was very pale pink and very pale blue. And they were about 10 inches wide. They were like from pink and blue invitation envelopes. And we took those home. I had pink and blue paper for years. Nox Tala. Or Nox Tala. Nylons are good for putting chlorine powder. I like this idea because we're having a problem with it dissolving on the bottom. Nylons are good for putting chlorine powder in and walk around the pool to get quickly dissolved. Monkey Blue, I forgot this tip. I save produce and bread bags for when we vacuum pack meat. Now this is great. Keeps the food saver bag really clean if you carefully wrap your poultry and meats in the recycled bags first. That makes it so you can reuse the food saver bags. I've gotten 4 uses out of a food saver bag, just cutting off the very end, slipping out the roast, hamburger, chicken, whatever, giving the bag a wash, and then using it for some time for something smaller in the next use. Very well said. My mom would make an old worn out blanket and use it the inside of a quilt that she was making. The quilt was nice and cozy and warm. That's what I do. Sometimes I use quilt batting if it's a gift, but more often than not, I keep old blankets, and when your fitted sheet on your bed is absolutely toast, keep the flat sheet for the quilt backing and an old worn out blanket for your lining, and you will save yourself tons of money and you'll get addicted to quilting. Rhonda Sherwood, I save plastic jars from mayo and such to put stuff in the freezer. Now we're thinking on the shelf, but this is brilliant. To put stuff in the freezer instead of buying new freezer containers. Just wash them good. Nell Covington, from reading on here, it seems a lot of people are saving bread and other plastic bags. I save mine in empty tissue boxes. Now this was also brilliant. In empty tissue boxes. Puff boxes work best since they have the large opening. But you could enlarge the opening on any brand if needed. I have a different box for the different size bags. Works great. I kept my boxes in one of my kitchen drawers, easily accessible. And if you do it this way, if you roll up the bag, now think of this as a tissue box. You roll up the bag, and then just as you're getting to the end, put the next bag on the lip of the old one and keep rolling. And that way, whenever you pull one out, the next one's coming out with it, just like in a tissue box. I'm going to quit there, and I will do another video after this at some point this week. Now, let's talk about the Dawn and Vinegar that you guys wanted me to talk about. And notice I print this stuff off, not just for easy reading, but so that I can keep these ideas from y'all. These are awesome. All right. This is my Dawn and Vinegar. Okay? I buy Dawn Platinum. Okay? The type of soap you buy is important to how much vinegar you use. Now, this is not thick by any stretch of the imagination, and I only use 1/3 or 1/4 of a bottle of Dawn, and I top it up with everyday white vinegar. Don't buy the cleaning vinegar. It's only slightly more acidic, and it's twice the price. Just use regular white vinegar. All right? Now, I put this in a squirt bottle, and I have one in the bathroom downstairs. I have one in the bathroom here and one in the kitchen. Why? And that makes it watery enough that when I do my dishes, I throw in the tab, the soap tab. I put 1 shot, no more than an ounce of this mixture of Dawn and Vinegar. Any more, you'll have suds coming out from the bottom of your dishwasher. So 1 shot of Dawn and Vinegar, a 1/2 cup of white vinegar, and I throw in. This stops you from needing to, but this plus the extra vinegar stops you from having to buy Finish dishwasher fluid, the rinse solution. Okay, there's that. I use this for everything. If I have to do an oven grate, I lay dirty tea towels or ones that I've just used on top of the rack in my oven or in my tub, and I squirt Dawn and vinegar all over that, and I give it a quick spray of water, just enough to soak the cloth, not to run the Dawn vinegar through too much. And I put that, and I let that soak, and it, Bob's your uncle, it comes off with a scrub. Now, somebody else was really brilliant, and it wasn't in this list. Somebody said use balled up tinfoil to clean your barbecue, because so many people have had those wires in their food because they use old or broken down barbecue scrapers. Use a ball of tinfoil, used tinfoil. Save one of your washed used tinfoils that's ripped in a ball and use it to scrub the with Dawn and vinegar. Scrub your barbecue grill. Squirt this up under the rim of your toilet. Let it stand. Squirt this all over your bathroom sink, all over your kitchen sink, all over your stove top, all over your shower stall walls, all over your tub. Let it sit, and in 9 times out of 10, you can rinse off the tub and the shower walls. Your toilet brush will just go, it will be easy to clean with your toilet brush, and your sinks come out really, really, really clean. Now get this, so does your stove top, so do your countertops, so do your sinks in the kitchen. Why? Because this stuff works. It works on everything. I don't buy Lysol toilet bowl cleaner. I haven't in years. I don't buy scrubbing bubbles for my shower. I haven't in years. And get this. I got, do you know my pale blue and white striped tank top? Well, I must have got some spaghetti sauce on it when we were eating one night. And I didn't see it, and I threw it in the wash, and it came out with a bright orange stain from the dryer. I put some of this on there. Covered the stain, Dawn and vinegar. I threw it back in the wash with the next load of whites. The stain was gone, and that's a stain that was set in by the dryer. I feel like Minnie talking about Crisco. Dawn and vinegar is all you need. You wash your floors, you put a squirt of that in the mop pail. Just a squirt. And then, if you want to rinse your floors or if there's any streaking, you just dump out the pail, put in some water and a half a cup of vinegar, and that will rinse your floors, especially if they're wood. They'll rinse your floors really nicely with no streaking. Dawn and vinegar. I have washed my hair with this. I wouldn't do it every day, but every once in a while you want a real deep clean. The diluted Dawn will give you that, and the vinegar will give your hair some healthy pH. Everything, guys, everything. The My Big Fat Greek Wedding with Dad and the Windex, Dawn and vinegar. This is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed recording it, and we'll come back soon with the rest of the story. Take care, God bless, and keep those ideas coming in. Let's share this knowledge. Let's reawaken our grandparents' style of frugal living. Mwah! Take care, God bless.